tropical depression forms, could be Hurricane Nate by the time it reaches Gulf Coast. The National Hurricane Center on Wednesday started issuing advisories on Tropical Depression 16 and forecast it to strengthen into a hurricane and head for the Gulf Coast. Tropical Depression 16 was located in the southwest Caribbean as of Wednesday morning and had winds of 35 miles per hour. The Hurricane Center expects it to strengthen and become Tropical Storm Nate later today. The Air Force Reserve's hurricane hunters are scheduled to take a closer look at the system this afternoon. The storm will move near Central America before heading across the Gulf toward the northern Gulf Coast over the weekend. A tropical storm warning has been issued from Sandy Bay Sirpe in Nicaragua to Punta Costilla in Honduras. TD16 is forecast to move slowly northwestward near or across parts of Honduras and Nicaragua, then into the northwest Caribbean and into the southern Gulf by Saturday, the Hurricane Center said. After that it's highly uncertain where it could go, except north. Computer forecast models show potential landfall points from Louisiana to the Florida Panhandle. However, the official Hurricane Center forecast track puts the center of the storm near Panama City, Florida, by Sunday as a hurricane. The Hurricane Center said the system is forecast to continue strengthening over the Gulf of Mexico and could affect portions of the northern Gulf Coast as a hurricane this weekend, with direct impacts from wind, storm surge, and heavy rainfall. However, it is too early to specify the timing or magnitude of these impacts. Residents along the Gulf Coast from Louisiana to Florida should monitor the progress of this system for the next several days and heed any advice given by local officials. The National Weather Service office in Mobile is also watching the system and said it's still far too early to say where it will go, and how strong it will be when it gets here. Forecasters said an area of strong high pressure over the western Atlantic and southeast will influence the system's path. For TD16 to move northward toward the northern Gulf Coast, there will need to be a weakness in that ridge. That weakness could come from another tropical wave that was located near southern Florida on Wednesday morning. Forecasters will be closely watching that wave's path, because it could affect where TD16 eventually goes. Computer models are not of one mind on where the weaker wave will end up. It could track west, which could produce a weakness in the central Gulf, and TD16 could track northward toward the central Gulf Coast, the Weather Service said. If the weaker wave moves north over the Florida Peninsula, TD16 could take a more northeasterly track into the eastern Gulf, forecasters said. The more westerly track would provide us with strengthening onshore flow and wet weather over the weekend, while the eastern track would provide us with more of an offshore flow and dry weather, the Weather Service said. Data from the hurricane hunters will be important to pinpoint the center of the system and gauge its strength. That information will also be fed into computer models as they plot its track. The next name on the storm list is Nate.